Welcome back. Last night's presidential debate making headlines around the world, with multiple outlets questioning whether Biden will stay in the race. Germany's Der Spiegel simply writing that was painful. And while the U.S. election is still more than 4 months away, recent events overseas may provide a little preview of what's to come, particularly on the economy and immigration. We could get a glimpse as early as Sunday, when the first round in France's snap election starts. Our next guest has been covering it, her team writing that it's Macron versus vibes, as strong economic data isn't translating to happy consumers. Joining me now is Leila Abboud. She's the Financial Times Paris bureau chief. Leila, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I think that's a little bit how the Biden administration feels lately when they think, well, strong economy, where's the love? But I think we all know the punchline is inflation.
Yes, French consumers have been feeling the pain of inflation for a couple of years. As you know, the sort of war in Ukraine a couple of years ago started in 22, sort of hit electricity prices and energy prices in Europe more than in the U.S. The French government actually did a lot to protect households. They put a sort of price cap on electricity, which helped. It's just that people seem to have forgotten that they did that, and they get almost no credit for doing it.
So what do you think, what are people saying about what could happen, I think, beginning on Sunday? And what do you think it does tell us about the mood, perhaps globally, about what has happened with inflation, immigration, and the economy in recent years?
Yeah. I mean, President Emmanuel Macron, who's kind of been like a bulwark against populism in France for 7 years now, has done something a bit wild in calling these snap elections. It was unexpected. He didn't have to do it. And he's now put him and his centrist allies in a very difficult position where they are looking at heavy losses in this two-round vote. What does it tell us? I mean, I think it just tells you that the forces of populism are quite strong, and it's happening across Europe. We can see that tendency in the U.S. too. It comes from a sort of frustration among some voters about living standards, and also sort of a real sort of like protest vote against immigration, which is real and I don't think can be denied.
If he's going to lose or suffer losses or however it's going to shake out, why call it?
That's a great question. If I was in his brain, I would be able to tell you. But political observers here, including my team at the FT, have been debating that since he did it earlier this month. His official explanation is that it's actually the most democratic thing to do in the French system. His party had suffered heavy losses in a European election, and he hasn't had a majority in parliament since 2022. So it's been a bit rocky for him. And in the French constitution, the president can call snap elections when he feels like the legislative branch, the parliament, is blocked and not functioning well. So he made the argument that, he lost badly in the election. The parliament wasn't functioning well. And the most democratic thing to do is to go back to the voters. I think tactically, he probably felt like maybe he could destabilize his opponents and come out ahead. That really hasn't happened. And he's facing an RN, a Rassemblement National, which is the far right party led by Marine Le Pen, that is just ascendant. And you really feel sort of something happening in the country where they have a good shot at winning.
And what about the far left?
So you can't actually call them only the far left. The whole left has coalesced into one alliance, and it's made up of a far left party and then more moderate parties. So it's kind of a hodgepodge that is not very intellectually coherent, but they've mashed it together in a matter of days, because if they hadn't, they would have gotten wiped out. So they're actually running second. And will probably come in ahead of Macron's camp, which is sort of devastating for him. Economically, they do have a pretty heavy tax and spend program, which will change things a lot for investors, I think, looking at France.
And beyond France, where should our attention be focused, Leila, as that was a snap election? We obviously have ours in a few months' time, but we already had the European election results more broadly. So where else might the balance of power shift?
Well, the UK is having their elections on July 4th. That one has a little bit more of a predictable script. The Conservatives have been in power for a long time. Labour is going to win. So it's less of a sort of surprise, but it will lead to changes in the UK's position, potentially bring them a bit closer to the European Union. Since Brexit, they've been kind of out on their own. The Labour incoming government has given some signs that they might want to change that. That might be interesting to watch in Europe. But then I also think you have to watch sort of other countries in the coming years that are going to have elections, and the sort of nationalists and far right parties are actually polling quite strongly in a lot of places.